So hello. It's been a while. I figured I would talk about something that's been happening a little bit more lately. Um, Oftentimes people describe feelings or getting overwhelmed by feelings or sensation or energy, or they can feel the energy in a place. So I'm going to talk about three specific times when I very obviously hit some kind of wall of energy. The energy around me, the environment, the atmosphere around me just physically changed, and I could sense it pretty vividly. Um, there are times, like sometimes, spirits will present themselves as like a cold spot, and I've definitely had that happen. But these are instances where I've actually walked into a space and it just feels like I just walked right through almost a barrier, so to speak. I know other mediums talk about how they go in and just, oh, I'm not going into that room. Something is pushing me out of that room or not letting me go in. I've not had that profound an experience, but close, especially recently. The first time I remember being in kind of a heightened energy area or field, I guess, is when cousin and I took a trip out west to see Deadwood, South Dakota, and the environment around there, the area around there. And I wanted to see Devil's Tower because I had watched the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I knew it was filmed at Devil's Tower in Wyoming. So we were close. So we drove up there in the middle of a thunderstorm and got up there through the thunderstorm, got to Devil's Tower, and it was sunny and clear by the time we got there, fortunately. But we got there at the end of the day. The gate was just about to close in 10 minutes. So we got through, got up to the lots, and you drive up into the woods, into the parking lot, and then Devil's Tower is kind of surrounded by a forest, wooded area. So we walked in there, and I was surprised, not surprised to see there were a lot of prayer rags, offerings tied to the trees, because it is a Native American sacred site. And I kind of understand why now, having walked into there. So we walk through the woods, we get to the opening where Devil's Tower is, and is surrounded by broken rock. I think it's a volcanic core that's been kind of crumbling over the years, eroding away, and it's a huge boulder field around the bottom of this tower. So I remember getting to the rocks and walking around the rocks, and it just felt like I just came out of nowhere. I just felt like I walked into an electric field, like you feel my body was just kind of like not shivering, but quaking, kind of like, I could feel the buzziness of a lot of energy around me. And it just, like I said, felt like I walked into an electric field. And we walked around, took pictures and all that. It didn't affect me. I didn't feel anything negative from it, but I could just feel the energy in there. So I asked my cousin, I said, "Do you feel that energy around you?" And he said, "No." So I guess it was just me, maybe my abilities. I don't know. But the whole time we're at the base on the rocks, I just got that sensation of just being in a field, just like that. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was just very noticeable. Uh, and like I said, it didn't preclude me from doing anything I wanted to see or take pictures of or anything. But as soon as we walked back to the parking lot, through the woods, back to the parking lot, it stopped. So that's really the first occasion I remember sensing energy at that level. Like the entire atmosphere was just charged. Um, so um, More recently, I've had two other experiences, um, going to relamping my churches back in New England, another church in Connecticut, the same church where in 2008 a spirit whispered in my ear at night while I'm brushing my teeth in the bathroom or the kitchenette, "Please help get me out of here." So we went back there, and I've talked about this in another video, but it's the same space. This is my last visit in November last year. And I walked down there first. My hosts, they're still upstairs. So I walked down first, down to the basement. And I'm in the hall before the room that we're going to change the lights in. And when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I walk about 5 feet into the hallway, and it just hit me. And I don't know how to describe it other than I just walked into like going from hot to cold or cold to hot or a cold spot. It just, the whole hallway just felt like this. I call it sour. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels like something, oh, something like I can feel like a negative energy all around me, just filling the entire space. And so I stopped for a second. And I was like, okay, something's here. Something doesn't want me here. So of course, I'm in a hurry. I have to get this job done. And given my history with these type of encounters, I'm not putting up with any of their guff, especially when I know I need to get something done. So I just called right out. I said, okay, look, we're going to be relamping this space for the next couple hours. Feels like you don't want me here, but too bad this has to be done. Sorry, you can go hide in another part of the basement until we're done, but we're going to be here and this needs to get done today. Sorry. And then miraculously, I kind of felt the energy push away or pull back, kind of like retreat down the hallway. And I felt fine. After that, we went into the room and then they came down. And so we managed to relamp the room for, I think it took about 3 hours total, and finished it up and then got out of that space. So I don't know if they came back into the space, but previous encounters down there, I had not felt an energy like that in the space. So that was just a little bit disarming for a second. It's like, okay, someone's here and they don't want me here, but well, too bad. This has to be done. Not necessarily dismissive of it, but no guff. I need to get this done. I'm all business. Get me in, get me out. So um, that at least had kind of a positive ending. It did retreat and pull away from me, so it didn't bother me the entire rest of the time I was down there. Um, the last time this happened, and I talked about this in my last video, I was relamping um, a camp over here in Michigan, and I was told that the building was haunted. I had started this in November and then had a kidney stone attack and had to leave. So I came back in December to finish the third floor of this hall. And it's now the administrative building. They don't use it for campers anymore. But the third floor, there's a basement level, the main level where the offices are. And then there's a third floor, which is old bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff. So I had done the previous two, the bottom and the middle floor. And I was bringing everything up to do the third floor that day and finish it up, hopefully take an hour or so. So I'm bringing my tools and everything up, and you go up the stairs. It's about 3 flights of stairs up. Then there's a landing. Then there's a door. You have to open the steel door. It's a fire door, and go into the hallway of the third floor. So I did that twice, and then I went down to get the ladder, and I'm bringing the ladder upstairs, and I got to the almost to the top landing, third floor landing, probably about 3 or 4 steps before the door, before the landing. And I just hit again this wall. I just walked into this sick energy. Again, felt very sour, but it felt very angry. And this was more sour. Sorry, I don't know how else to describe it. Just more sour than any other encounter I'd had. And it didn't feel evil. It didn't feel oppressive. It was there. Maybe others would interpret that as oppressive, but it was very thick. It was just very, ugh. Again, I call it sour. I don't know what else to call it. It's just very prickly, just negative, kind of not pleasant energy. So I get up there, open up the door, get in the hallway, and it's still there, like the whole hallway. And I'm going up and down, making sure, checking the lights, and the whole hallway just felt sour. So they had said that building was haunted. And having been in the basement, nothing. Second floor, nothing. Third floor, that day anyway, um, I was guessing someone was there. And I kind of picked up on a female energy, like a woman, maybe an angry woman. I don't know. And, I went back, got my tools ready, got everything ready. And I just stood there at the end of the hallway, looked down the hallway, and I said, okay, look, I'm relamping. I'm going to be here a couple hours. Sorry you don't like it. If you don't like it, go hide in the attic or something for a couple hours until I'm done, but this needs to get done today. Okay. And unlike the other church, this hall, it stayed there. It never retreated. The whole time I was in the hallway, it was surrounding me. I was immersed in this sour, sickly, kind of prickly energy. And just the overriding thought in my head was like, get out. I don't want you in my space. So I said, well, sorry, this has to be done. So I just pushed ahead. I did do some of the bathrooms, some of the bedrooms off to the sides. And each time I went into a side room out of the hallway, the energy stopped. Energy was not present in any of those rooms. So I knocked those out pretty quickly. But that hallway, I left the rest of it for last just because it wasn't that pleasant a feeling. And at one point, the camp director came up and we were talking about various things for about 20 minutes. And either I didn't feel it or I was ignoring it, whatever, or the energy liked her and didn't bother her. But as soon as she left, and boom, there it is again. I noticed it again, and I finished up the very last light in that hallway, gathered everything up, threw away all the scraps, gathered everything, brought it back downstairs, 2 or 3 trips downstairs, and on my last trip, I just said, "Okay, I'm done. You can come back. Sorry to bother you, but this had to get done, and it's done. So go back to normal, do whatever you were doing. Sorry to bother you. I am out of here. So enjoy. Find the light. You belong in the light." And then got out of there, and I was done for the day in that spot. So I confirmed a couple days later over text. It said, it's done. Have you gone in and looked at it? I said, it felt a very sour energy. I said, you said that place is haunted. The third floor was definitely haunted. And I felt a feminine energy up there, like it was a woman up there. And she confirmed that, yes, the third floor is the one that's active, and that everyone in the offices on the second floor at some point had either heard something walking around upstairs or they heard a woman's voice in the building. And again, mostly on the third floor. So I confirmed that for them. But yeah, that's the last time I've hit a wall of energy like that. But it kind of didn't bother me so much because I'm in the mindset I need to get this done, so I'm not going to worry about their problems on top of my problems. um, Maybe that makes me unique or cocky, I don't know, but um, I'm here to save the camp money and keep it in business. So you don't think that's honorable? That's your problem, not mine. Um, I know it sounds very dismissive, but yeah, I didn't have the time or the energy to deal with it at that point. So anyway, we got confirmation, and it's just interesting. So if we'll see if any of these, I'm doing 2 more churches in New England next month. We'll see if I encounter anything at those churches. So hopefully not. But yeah, so walking into a wall of energy like that, it's hard to describe, but if you have abilities, you probably have felt energies around you quite a bit. But these were just very profound experiences, nothing like anything I'd encountered before. So that's my experience. If you have your own experiences, let me know. But do check out my other videos. Talk about nothing but my personal encounters with spirits in the various places I've been. So thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want.